We're going to move on to topic number 7 now. We're going to switch over to the baseball diamond and Shohei shut down. Shohei Ohtani, it sounds like they're going to be shutting him down as a pitcher for the rest of the season. I think Shohei's still going to bat and maybe play the field. Might just be a DH for the rest of the year, too. The Angels are completely out of contention. They're not going to make the wild card. They're certainly not going to win the division. So, Brandon, a couple things here. One, as a fan, I'm sure this, you just hate to see this, a guy with this unique of a season being shut down on the most unique side of it, which is his pitching aspect. And then, do you think this is going to hurt his MVP chances, even though right now he's the front runner?
Flat out, heck no. And if they vote anybody else the MVP, then they'll look like idiots right now. Even with this guy having to be shut down early because of an injury, he's still the MVP of Major League Baseball. He's done things that we haven't seen in over 100 years in the game. He's done them better than Babe Ruth even did. So I got to say this guy is the Major League MVP, and just lock it in no matter what else he does this season here. They could just shut him down for good. I still think you need to drop this trophy off at Shohei's front door when the season ends. So I say no to that. I definitely still think he's the MVP of Major League Baseball no matter what. In my opinion, he would definitely still have my vote. But hey, man, I got to say, we went with Shohei shutdown, but I like the being called, oh no, Ohtani. Like, oh no, Ohtani. Oh no, we got to shut Ohtani down. And so I think that's really one of the things. It's kind of a disappointment, I think, for us fans to see Ohtani get shut down. But I think, like we said, we both said it clearly a precautionary thing when you've got the best player in baseball and you're not playing for any postseason baseball. Like, let's protect our asset. Let's protect Shohei from himself even, right? As a great player, sometimes you want to just go hard no matter what's on the line. So I think this is great from the Angels. I think this is a smart decision to shut down the best player in baseball and your number one asset. He is the franchise right now, and that's crazy to say when you've got a guy like Mike Trout on your roster as well. But I clearly think this guy is the franchise right now. I think this is a precautionary shutdown to keep him healthy and to keep him fresh going into next season, so we can see him do this all over again next season and potentially win back-to-back MVPs. And I know people are saying, whoa, 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 Coach Perry, you're kind of getting ahead of yourself there. But I think this guy's been so impressive that it would not shock me at all for him to just, get a nice break off and then to come back next year and do it all over again and look just as good, maybe even better. But I think you're right. I think this is the right call, and I think it's a smart call for a team that's out of postseason contention. And I think, like you said, I think the even smarter call would be, hey, let's shut him down in the field as well, and let's just make him a DH only and let that bat ring out home runs for the rest of the season, and so we can at least still enjoy watching him hit some dingers.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that, because he mentioned that he had either a sore arm or sore shoulder. I can't remember which one was which, and that's why they're going to shut him down. It's not because he's got actually a severe injury. It's just that time of the year, and like we mentioned, they're not playing for any playoff spot or in playoff contention. The only way he doesn't win MVP is if Vlad Guerrero Jr. tears the cover off the ball the last couple of weeks of the season. Right now Toronto is fighting the Yankees for that second wild card spot. If they surpass the Yankees and get to that wild card spot, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the biggest reason they do that, then maybe just maybe he'll get the MVP. I don't agree with it, but I can see the case being made, because I am a big fan of players who have awesome years and carry their team into the playoffs. I think that's huge. Unfortunately, that's out of Shohei's hands. It's not his fault that Anaheim, can't find the playoffs if it was, living next door to him. But, I think they also hasn't been healthy this year. So maybe next year with Shohei, a healthy Mike Trout, maybe they go after a pitcher in the offseason and try to kind of retool this team to contend again in the AL West. Then I think that would be the kind of the plan for the Angels. They're in Los Angeles. They have money. They can make this happen. So that's probably the plan. You don't want him to have a nagging, lingering injury going into next spring training. So I think this is the right move. I hope he still bats. I think it's still important to have him finish off the season to some extent. They'll probably sit him for a couple of games, kind of sprinkled throughout the rest of the season. But I think he'll still get some at-bats and still play a little bit. So totally understand what they're doing. I still hope he wins the MVP. I think that would be huge. It's just such a unique and unbelievable season from this guy who's going to be an MVP contender for years to come.
Yeah, and to your point, I got to agree with you. I think, you got to give a player that can carry his team into the postseason a little bit more credit. Rightfully so. They've earned that. So I definitely agree with that point. And I also agree. I think if they keep Shohei batting at least and they keep him as a DH, I think that proves to his point to say, hey, he's still out there. He's still, hitting home runs. He's still getting on base. This is your Major League Baseball MVP, and he still deserves it. He's still out there. He's still playing. We've only just shut him down from pitching and maybe taken him out of the field. And that's not his choice. It's our choice as a franchise. So I think that's one of those things. If he can still continue to bat and put up some numbers and hit some dingers, that he will definitely still lock in that MVP vote. And I think it's something that not only that me and you want, but I think it's all the Major League Baseball fans want this. I think the world wants to see this. And so I think it'll be big for baseball if they make sure, and I'm not saying they rig the vote. I don't think you have to. I think this guy's done enough already to make it happen. So I think it's just one of those things where even if he just stays steady right now, that you've got to lock him in as a Major League Baseball MVP. And not only is it going to give him what he rightfully deserves and earned, but I think it's going to give your game, Major League Baseball, a lot of respect and credit and get eyes back on the game and bring money back to it. We all know that's what they need to grow and keep Major League Baseball alive going into the future. This is the guy to do it. So you got to reward him for what he's done this year and give him the MVP.
Folks, if you like this show, you're watching it right now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That's Comeback Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Comeback Sports. And then all the cut-ups that our awesome producer, Ben Kudo, puts together after the show, that'll all filter to your YouTube channel. You don't have to go search for it. It's just right there in your subscriptions.